What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So in today's video, it's been a long time since I've actually made one of these type of videos, but considering that this is a big celebratory event, the 55 million download celebration with Luffy and Law's debut, I know a lot of people have either been re-rolling or they've been just getting into the game, and this is a video dedicated towards Luffy and Law, just discussing the character as a whole and what are the types of characters that you kind of want to use with them. I know that for a lot of players who understand the game a lot and can already build teams quite effectively, this probably isn't the video for you. But I know that there's many people out there that really don't understand a lot of the game, and I want to take this video and dedicate it to talking about Luffy and Law, how they actually work, and what are the best ways to utilize them, and just the best type of things about the character. And we're going to discuss the great things about them and why they are as revered as they are in One Piece Treasure Cruise, because honestly, as it stands right now on global, they're probably the best legend in the game, though I feel like the best legend in the game will actually be tossed and turned a lot over the next coming months, with lots of characters coming out, such as Kaido, Douglas Bullet, Stampede Luffy. There's lots of good characters to look forward to, but let's get into it. So first of all, I want to talk about all the abilities regarding Luffy and Law and just discussing everything about them. So the first character that will actually be out on the field when you have Luffy and Law out on your team is Luffy. Now, Luffy is a fighter free spirit, and he is a green dex character. And then when you switch to Law, he's a slasher cerebral, and he is quick or blue. And then when you combine, they'll either be either dex or quick, depending on who was out at the time. And when they're fully combined, they're fighter and slasher, which is pretty interesting because that has some very, very interesting mechanics and relationships with other characters in the game. The fact that they fuse into specifically fighter and slasher. It would have been interesting to see how they would have went if they literally fused into free spirit cerebral. That would have been very, very interesting, especially with the release of Sabo and Koala. That would have been absolutely insane, but it is what it is. So let's move on to the captain ability. So the first captain ability obviously is Luffy. Boosts the attack of all characters by 3.5 and give them all a 1.25 times health boost. So this is obviously one of the main reasons why they're one of the best legends in the game, is that they are 100% rainbow captain. They don't have any sort of conditions for their captain abilities to fulfill in order to get that attack boost. It's just an unconditional 3.5 times attack to all characters and 1.2 times health, which is just ridiculous, quite honestly. And that's not even the combined captain ability, which is just crazy to think about. Now, as for Law, he is a little bit more, I'd say, toned down. He actually makes a lot more sense. So he is a rainbow 3x boost with a 1.25 health boost, and he also recovers half of his recovery each time you hit a perfect. This is very, very similar to the original Quick Striker Law that came out quite a while ago. Now he's very, very similar, except that he is just for all characters now, not specifically for strikers or for cerebrals with his super evolution. And then when you finally combine into their dual unit, their captain ability is very good, boosting the attack of all characters by 4.5, which is the highest unconditional attack multiplier in the game for your entire team. You have other characters that come out eventually, like Douglas Bullet, who is a 4.75 times attack to himself only, and he is super effective against all types for himself, and the rest of your crew only get 4 times attack. But remember, this is for Rainbow, all characters on your team, all the time. Unconditional 4.5. Obviously, it only works when you're the dual captain, of course, but still, 4.5 is just ridiculous. And also, you still get that health boost, of course, and recover 1 times their recovery every time you hit a perfect. So that's great. Their sailor abilities are nothing crazy, some stat boost, and they resist paralysis and silence on themselves. The silence reduction or special bind is good. The paralysis on themselves really doesn't make that much of a difference overall. As for their special abilities, it's quite interesting because there's 2 separate specials. One if Luffy is out when you use the special, or one when Law is out. When Luffy is out, he does 400 times his attack as typeless damage to a single enemy, whereas if Law's out, it's a 75 times his attack AoE typeless to all enemies that goes through barriers and defensive effects. So you can use that in different situations, which is quite nice that you have the ability to do that. But they will both activate the ability where Dex and Quick are beneficial for all characters, and a 2.5 times orb boost for 1 turn, which as it stands now is the highest orb boost in the game outside of Treasure Map Big Mom, but she's kind of like her own case because after you use her special, you can't activate pretty much any other attack boosting effect, which is quite annoying. But it's very, very good. Very, very good. 2.5 times rainbow orb boost that can stack with other many higher attack or color affinity boosts, which is why this character is great. They also have the switch effect, which is just another inherent ability that dual units are just so much better than all the other legends for the most part, I would say, just because they have this added switch effect that they can be activated all the time and they don't activate enemy interrupts. So when you switch between Luffy and Law, they remove all slot bind on themselves, which is great. They give themselves a matching orb that can get rid of block orbs as well, which is nice. And they will give themselves a 2x attack boost for 1 turn, which is great because so when you switch, you get the matching orb on themselves and a 2x attack boost. And with that alone, that's a lot to like really just KO a lot of enemies just with that alone. And the really cool thing is when you switch, you get that, or you get the orb and you get the attack boost. You can use their special on top of that, so you get a 2x attack to themselves as well as a 2.5x orb boost. So with that massive amount of attack boost to just themselves, that can go through barriers with their added effect as well. Normal attacks will ignore enemy defensive barriers and buffs. Like, that ability is crazy. They just do so much damage, being rainbow boosts and everything. For their potential ability, pinch healing is quite nice. Recover under 30%, you get 1x his recovery. That is a little low. That should have been at least 1.5 times. Reduce recovery bind by 7 turns, and the critical hit, probably the best critical hit in the game, 100% chance for 10% extra damage. You want to max out this guy's critical hit. You get so much more extra damage by maxing that out. So just to reiterate, what are the pros of this character? So obviously they're rainbow, just first and foremost. They are a rainbow captain, so that's amazing. They have the highest attack boost in the game that's unconditional. You have other characters such as Douglas Bullet, as we discussed previously. V2 Mihawk and V2 Sanji, they do inherently get higher attack boosts, but you have to get like literally like 5 perfects, and it's the last character that ends up being a little bit higher. I think maybe they're 4th. After 4 perfects, maybe it might be higher. But again, you need to hit your perfects for that, for those characters. And you know, if they get their chain reduced, then they're basically useless. And V2 Katakuri, if he has the type advantage, you get a 4.66 multiplier, which is very good. But again, you need to have the type advantage. Whereas this character, unconditionally, is going to boost all characters by 4.5, which is great. They also have the inbuilt healing mechanic with Law as the captain and as the dual captain, which is great. So knowing that, that's pretty much going to tell what cotton candies I would suggest to you guys, because the healing is such a predominant effect. I would definitely suggest recovery cotton candies for this character. Though HP candies is not a terrible idea, because remember, they still boost HP by 1.25. In my personal opinion though, and from other people's opinions as well, I personally feel like the recovery will help out more often in more difficult content. They also have the highest orb boost in the game as it stands now, aside from Big Mom, as we already said. We already talked about their solo attack going through barriers, and with all those boosts added on top of it as well, which is great. Another good thing that a lot of people don't talk about with Luffy and Law is the fact that they are Luffy and Law, which means that they can get access to some of the best supporter units in the game. Characters such as Int Ivankov, Quick Rare Recruit Beppo, Legend Corazon, Sai Jinbei, Raid Zoro, if you're running a slasher team, is great. And then also stat boosting ones like Legend Usopp and also Legend Big Mom. They can have really great support abilities attached to them, which makes your teams even better, which is just so good. Now, with all of the stuff that we've talked about and how good they are, what are the bad things about Luffy and Law? Well, the thing is you can't run other Law and Luffy characters with Luffy and Law, which is a pretty big drawback, honestly, because a lot of the good characters in the game are Luffy's and Laws. You know, you're missing like Snake Man, but then again, this character's a better orb booster than Snake Man. The quick Gear 4 Luffy would have been an amazing character to have on a team like this, because he's a rainbow 2x attack booster. And then for Law, I mean, you've got version 1 Law, who is a really great character. You've also got access to Treasure Map Law, who's just a really useful character to have as well. So, you know, you can't run Luffy and Law characters, which is a drawback in and of itself, but the character is so good that it doesn't matter all the time. Also, they may struggle to get matching orbs. They don't have many abilities to get matching orbs. Obviously, with their captain effect or with their special ability, they make Dex and Quick beneficial, which is good, but you need some way to get matching orbs somehow still, which is probably one of the bigger drawbacks to the character, and just the fact that they need an attack booster. It's a lot harder to get a rainbow attack booster compared to a rainbow orb booster. So that is honestly probably the biggest drawback, is the fact that they don't attack boost your crew with their special. If it was a 2.5 times attack boost, holy crap, this character would legitimately be like one of the best characters in the game, period, and would legitimately last forever in terms of their usefulness. The orb boost is still really good though, but the attack boost is far superior in my opinion, and but the fact that they do orb boost to become the dual unit, that can be a negative in and of itself, because if the enemy reacts or has an interrupt to an orb boost effect, then basically using their special is a bad idea. Then you can't get their dual captain effect, which is the main draw to the character. But there we go, that's the full rundown of Luffy Law, which took a predominant amount of time, but now you guys fully understand as to why this character is so good, right? Now, as for sockets that I would recommend for the character, these are the 4 that I would suggest all the time. Having Chain Despair, you've got Cooldown, and Auto Heal. These are the 4 sockets that you want to feed to pretty much nearly every character in the game, honestly. Obviously, there are some characters that you'd probably want to feed a little bit different, such as Whitebeard and Marco, Legend NL, Legend Corazon, the list would go on. There are characters that are very niche and they're like supporter type units that you would probably want to feed different socket tomes to them. But for Luffy and Law, I would probably go with this build with damage reduction, though if you are really worried about getting matching slots, then you could definitely run that for their socket build as well. I just personally prefer the defensive option with the damage reduction sockets and the healing mechanics, but either one of these builds is highly recommended. And as we discussed earlier, I would probably suggest to run attack and recovery cotton candies, but remember, if you do screw up or you don't want to run a certain build, we now have removable cotton candy on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global, which is a massive positive. Now, as for ships that I would suggest with Luffy and Law, there are actually quite a few decent ships that you could run. One that I would suggest is the Blackbirds, which is good because it gives a boost to strength, dex, and quick. So if you build a team around strength, dex, and quick, that's really nice because they give a 1.55 attack boost, they give a health boost, and reduce cooldowns as well. So that's a nice option. Though you could run something else like the Blackbeard ship. Now, the Blackbeard ship is a little bit more interesting because you do need to build your team very, very efficiently because you need striker, shooter, fighter, and slasher. Now, obviously, with Luffy and Law, when they combine, they are fighter and slasher, but outside of their dual form, you want to make sure you have those classes anyway. But this is still another good option as it gives you a little bit more HP than the Blackbirds, still 1.55 attack, and reduced cooldowns as well, which is always going to be very helpful. The Polar Tang is a good option as well if you're mainly building Free Spirit and Slashers, because when you switch between Luffy and Law, Luffy being Free Spirit, Law being a slasher, you're always going to get the boost with this ship. And also they have a special ability that will heal you by 10,000 when you're under 20%. So that's a pretty good ship to run. Remember, you do need to run slashers and Free Spirit for the Polar Tang ship. Now, another ship that I think is a great option is the Moby Dick after completing the Whitebeard Forest, because yes, you get 1.4 times health, but remember, you start at half health. The thing is, though, is that with Luffy and Law, you have that healing mechanic as the dual captain and as Law. So, healing that HP back is not really an issue. So the Moby Dick, honestly, is probably one of the better ships to run, especially for very difficult content. And, outside of that, you can pretty much run any ship you want because you're running a rainbow team. So I guess the best ship, honestly, is the Ho ship for the cooldown, the regular attack boost, the EXP is really nice, and they have a healing mechanic with the special too. So I think the Ho, in most cases, is going to be your ship of choice, but the ones that I just talked about are also really good options as well. Now, with Luffy and Law, we already talked about it extensively already, but they are fully rainbow, which means you can run any character in the game. Now, there are characters that have certain abilities that only work if your captain is a certain color or a certain class, or stuff like that. So you don't really want to run characters like that. But remember, with Luffy and Law, they are an orb booster with their special. Now, if you guys haven't seen my team building video that I made maybe about a week or so ago, make sure to go check that out, especially if you're more of a beginner playing the game. Gives you guys full details as to what are the main things you need, or the main components that are required for building a decent team in Treasure Cruise. So make sure to check that out if you haven't done so already. But we talked about it in that video. If you've got an orb booster, you want a character that can give you matching slots, and you probably want an attack boosting special. So, use this database, use this website. This website is honestly the best resource for building teams in One Piece Treasure Cruise. Obviously, link will be down below in the description. This website is awesome. So if you want to filter attack boosters, you literally come down here and you go, either you want a color booster or you want a class booster. So if we want a color booster, you can filter through this, and it shows you every single character in the game that boosts a color by a certain multiplier. And obviously you can filter, like if you want a 2x attack boost that is a color boost, you can filter through that. Legend Lucy is a really good option, as he boosts 3 separate colors: strength, dex, and quick. 2 of those colors, Luffy and Law, are those colors by 1.75, and if you hit a certain amount of perfects, you get a 2x boost in the following turn. So if you are running strength, dex, and quick, this guy would be a great option, and if you are running that, then you can run the Blackbird ship with that, because that is obviously strength, dex, and quick related. So, you know, you can see how these things synergize with each other, but like, honestly, I don't want to spend too much time talking about the units that you can run with Luffy and Law, because you can run anything that you want, and it really comes down to what the content is that you're going up against, and you want to build for that content. So again, just reiterating, go check out my other video for that, because I talked about it extensively there. But you want to run an attack booster on Luffy Law. One that came out recently on Global, being free to play, is Edward Weevil. This guy is really good because he is a rainbow 2x attack booster if the enemy has all debuff protection or delay debuff protection. Now, a lot of content in the game will have that type of immunity, either delay or full immunity. So having a character as good as this is going to be great. So if you have Edward Weevil, that's going to be great. If you guys don't have Edward Weevil, you have to wait a couple of months for when he arrives on the treasure map exchange, but definitely get this guy because he is so useful. And this character actually debuted with the release of Luffy and Law, being the new dual unit, Lucci and Kaku. So if you ended up pulling Luffy and Law and you have this guy as well, be very happy, because this character works very well with Luffy and Law, because his special ability is a 2x attack boost to Powerhouse, Fighter, and Slasher. Obviously your captain has to be Powerhouse, Fighter, or Slasher, which Luffy and Law are either Slasher or Fighter, no matter which one they're in. So you want to have this guy definitely, and they have a great special ability, or swap effect, my bad, where they make 10 beneficial for Fighter, Powerhouse, or Slasher, and also give you a chain boost. So you can literally switch with this character, you get a chain boost, activate their special, you get the chain boost and the attack boost, and then you can get the orb boost from Luffy and Law. So with 2 characters, you're getting attack, orb, and a chain boost, and that's a lot of damage. Like that's enough damage to KO a lot of bosses in the game. Now remember, you're still not getting guaranteed matching orbs, so you want to try and find a way to either give yourself some dex orbs or some quick orbs, which Luffy and Law can make beneficial with their special, or you just want a character that can just say, hey, you know, you get a full board of matching orbs. So what we can do here, we can actually go to full board orb controllers, and these are characters that will essentially just generate a full board of orbs for you. Let's have a look here and see if there's any decent ones. Well, actually, speaking about this guy right here, 6+ Judge. Now, this isn't really a good orb manipulator for your teams, because he has to be a captain, but he will boost the attack of Fighter, Driven, and Powerhouse by 2x for 1 turn. Now the thing is when Luffy is out and when Luffy and Law combine, they are a fighter character. So this might be a good option if you opt to run that, because you can run, you know, this guy's a sub on your Luffy Law teams and have a bunch of other Driven and Powerhouse characters, and this guy's going to be your dedicated type booster for that team. So that is a really good option. What else do we have here? We got this guy, Redhead Shanks. This guy's awesome. You need to have a color team, basically. So if you're running Luffy and Law, you want to have a full team of either quick or dex characters, and this guy can give you a great chain boost and a 2.25x type boost. So that is a pretty good option as well. This guy's good. Raid Cracker generates you a full board of Dex Orbs, and he makes them beneficial, but obviously Luffy and Law already do that. But this is a great character for generating you a full board of matching orbs. What else do we have here? This Jinbei, the Legend 6+ Jinbei, is great, as his special ability will generate a full board of orbs for fighter characters, so that's pretty good as well. This guy's coming out recently as well, the Shanks and Ben Beckman dual unit in Treasure Map. Now, he doesn't give you matching orbs, he gives you a full board of empty orbs, but with his special, you can get the color affinity of 3x and a 3x chain lock for 1 turn. And the cool thing is when you activate the switch effect of Luffy and Law, that actually will work very well with this, because you get the matching orb on Luffy and Law, and they give themselves an attack boost. So you can get the attack boost, the matching orb, the color affinity, and the chain lock with those 2 characters. So some pretty ridiculous shenanigans that you can get there. Anything else that we have here? I mean, Coliseum Oven's not a terrible choice either. He can generate you a full board of orbs as well. So one cool thing that you can actually really do would be utilizing this quick rare recruit Kaku, because he has a great utility special with giving you the attack down, bind, and paralysis reduction but he changes your whole team's orbs into the orb that he currently has. So if you have a way to guarantee him a matching orb, potentially using the support character Vivi, attach it to this character, he gets guaranteed a quick orb on the final fight. You use his special, you get a full board of quick orbs, you reduce attack down, paralysis, and what was it? And bind by 5 turns. You get a full board of quick orbs. Luffy and Law make them beneficial for your team. That's just another really cool strategy you could use. Or this quick rare recruit Rayleigh that was actually available in one of the gem packs recently. He gives you a guaranteed full board of quick orbs, which again, Luffy and Law will treat as beneficial for your entire team. So there are a pretty decent amount of options, but remember, they are rainbow. You can pretty much run any character in the game that can kind of guarantee you some orbs. So sometimes you might not want to generate a full board of orbs, but sometimes the enemy gives you bad orbs and you want to make them into matching somehow. So if they give you like a full board of block orbs, you can use orb controllers and select the block tab, and all of these characters can change block orbs into matching. So that's another good way to generate some matching slots here. Legend Cracker is a phenomenal choice here. You've also got this ace as well, is pretty good. Dex Rayleigh's very, very good. Who else do you have here? You have, I mean, yeah, this Treasure Map Shanks as well. He's actually a really good option because he can shuffle your orbs away into highly chance of getting matching orbs with tap timing bonus as well. He reduces barrier and burn as well. You know, what happens if you're in a situation where the enemy just gives you a full board of badly matching slots? A character I can think of off the top of my head that's really, really good for that is Treasure Map Nami, because she will change block and badly matching slots into matching, as well as providing a really good amount of utility. So again, it really comes down to what the boss does, and after you find out what the boss does, you can use the database and just chuck the units on the Luffy and Law team, because Luffy and Law are a rainbow captain. That's the greatest thing about them. So I mean, this video probably didn't help out too much, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys the information as to why this character is so good and how you can best utilize them. Literally, you have to just use the database to figure out what type of characters can do what, and you can chuck them on the Luffy and Law team because he's a rainbow captain. And that's pretty much how it goes. So anyways, I really hope this, give you a little bit of a breakdown and you guys now understand how Luffy and Law work and why they are one of the best legends in the game. I will be uploading a tier list video over the next couple of days, so definitely look forward to that one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.